Welcome to this week's episode of Talk of the Town. My name's Philip Swiskett, and I am back with my good friend Dr. Harper from Vein Specialist of the South. Now, if you have questions about your veins, give my friends at Vein Specialist of the South a call, and they will get you the answers that you deserve. But if you don't have time to make an appointment, you can always go to virtualvein.com, answer 6 easy questions, and one of their providers will be in touch with you shortly. Now, if you're one of our brand new viewers on 13WMAZ, one, thanks so much for welcoming us into your home each and every week. But two, if you're wondering what is Talk of the Town, here's what you can expect from me and Dr. Harper, a conversation with someone in the community that's making a difference that we think that you actually need to hear about. This week is no different as we are interviewing Bryan Nichols, the owner of Macon Rocks Taste and See Coffee Shop, but that's not why Bryan's famous. That's not why he's on the show. Bryan is the man that brought Christmas lights to Middle Georgia, and we are thrilled to hear this story again. Bryan, thanks so much for joining us.
Man, so glad to be here.
Bryan, I've been looking forward to us having this chat now for several months, and I think our audience would like to know the backstory, the story about why the Christmas lights, and how that evolved. Can you share that with us?
Sure can. It's kind of a strange story, but the Christmas lights we already had here in Macon that the county had been vandalized in their warehouse, and I was on the Main Street board. The Main Street program was who kind of oversaw the Christmas lights at the time. And I said, well, maybe if you could get me in, I'll take a look at them, maybe get some volunteers and we can fix them because I really believe that people want to see them at Christmas. So me and some buddies went and looked at them, and we got them back up and running. A bunch of the old bulbs, the glass ones where you could thump them and they just bust in your hand. And so we started putting them out again. As we began to change the bulbs to LEDs, I'd be out there in the street doing it, and people would stop and go, "Thank you so much for this. I remember this from my childhood." And we'd begin to reminisce about how Macon was a place they would come and drive around and see the Christmas lights. And it made me think of my childhood growing up in Tifton, Georgia. And you couldn't wait to go to the Christmas parade and to go downtown and see the Christmas lights. And it's such a huge part of what we think of when we think of Christmas is all those special moments. So I thought, man, this is something that needs to get bigger and better for the new generation coming. And as I was sitting in meetings, they were talking about how to get people downtown to see the changes in downtown and to how to bring in tourism. Well, when you think about it, there was this house over in Cochran that people were driving to see, and it's just one house. And sometimes they drive a couple times a year just to go see this one house. So I had the thought of, what if we were to create a great environment in downtown Macon, right in the middle of the street, that everybody could come and see Christmas lights. People would come from all over. We could showcase downtown and show all the changes to downtown. And then I had been watching the TV show, The Great Christmas Light Fight, and they had it all synced to music, and it's all this really cool stuff. So I thought, what if we did that along with it and made it something spectacular, not just lights, but something different and unique that has not been done, as far as I know, anywhere in the world with city blocks the way that we've done it. And so that was why the Christmas lights came about, was to start creating new traditions and creating a place for people to come, see downtown, see the changes, and also bring in tourism. Little did I know at the time that it was going to not only work, but grow to what it is today. But it all started just because we were trying to get a few lights back up, and I heard from the community and what they wanted.
Well, on behalf of myself and my friends and family, thank you. And for the community, it's made a huge difference. When I'm thinking back about traditions, I know for some of you who are watching this show who may have never been to the Christmas lights, this may be the year you start that tradition for you and your family to come down and enjoy the time together with them here around the Christmas light extravaganza. For others of you, you've been coming for years, and it's a tradition, and we see people down here regularly that we see every year coming with their family, sometimes with a new baby, sometimes with extended family, and that really brings joy to my heart. I think that when I think about the Christmas lights, it's a time in our community where there's oneness, love, joy, and to see the kids' eyes light up, them dancing, and the older couples holding hands and walking, that means so much. Have you looking back on this, What joy do you get from it?
Oh man, it's so funny because a lot of people don't recognize me when I'm down here as being the guy who did the show, and I'll just sit and just watch people. You know, it's kind of like going to the mall. My grandfather used to go to the mall with my grandmother, and all he wanted to do was sit and people watch. Well, that's what I do, but the reason I do it is because it is so much work. But to be able to come down here for all those days of the show and watch those people having fun, like you said, the older couples dancing, they might not have danced together in years. You know, the kids underneath the snow blowers with the snow blowing, and they're just in awe. It really is a very magical moment. But there's so many other things. I mean, when I look back and I see all the people who came down here who have since left. They're not here anymore. They've passed on. But their memories that were made with their whole family, because a lot of times when you get together with extended family, that's over the holidays. The last time they got to spend time with that loved one was in the middle of the Christmas lights, and those are the memories that they have. Or somebody one night was here from hospice care, and I got to sit out there, and they've been to Callaway Gardens every year since she was a little girl. Well, she couldn't go to Callaway, and she sat out there, and I just cried. I'm just sitting there crying like a baby, and she's saying, this is more beautiful than Callaway. But it was more about the moment for her than it was about the difference between here and Callaway. But to know that I was able to even have a small part in these people's lives to do these types of things, that's what brings me joy, is those moments. And I see them every night. Man, the engagements, I couldn't even count on all my hands how many engagements have happened down here.
Really?
The numbers are just through the roof on that stuff. But just, you know, people meeting for the first time or going on their first date, or I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So but those moments are what's precious to me.
Hey, Philip, do you have any memories you like to share from down here?
I do. So I brought my wife down here. I think we had been married a year. And I think it was our very first wedding anniversary that we actually came down here and got to see some of the lights and eat a lot of the good food. And it was one of those memories that I think I'll cherish forever, you know. But to me, what's so impressive is that you were willing to do this with no financial gain on your behalf. You know, you're not trying to make yourself a lot of money from this venture. It is simply something that you thought that this community as a whole could benefit from, and that's why we're so grateful to you for this.
Right. A lot of money came out of your own pocket. Plus, you did get some grants from some of the downtown organizations to help.
You know, the Downtown Challenge grant is what started the whole thing with the Peyton Anderson
Right.
Foundation, the Knight Foundation, and then of course it's been funded now by sponsors and
Right.
you know, all the help with Northway Church and different. I mean, there's so many people involved in this that it really is not just me. I'm just the guy that has to do a lot of the work that nobody else wants to do. But because of the moments, it makes it easier to do. So when you're out there in the trees for hours on end, you have to look forward and see what's coming,
Right.
or you'll lose sight of the fact that it's not always fun in 100-degree weather to be hanging Christmas.
So if in the next couple of weeks, if you see somebody and a cherry picker out and one of the blocks putting lights up, honk your horn, it might be Bryan.
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the stories that got me though was one night, because we have the horse and buggy rides, and one night I told my kids, I said, why don't we go on the horse and buggy ride? I mean, I want to be part of this, you know. So we were riding it, and this was like the third year in. We're halfway around in the horse and buggies, and I'm sitting there going, this is incredible. I forgot that I was the guy who did it. I got so lost in that moment that I literally felt like I had been transported somewhere totally different, only to get right back off, right back where I was. And so it truly is a magical place.
Right. So you keep mentioning the word magical. That's one of the things I'd written thinking about this today. And the opening night is really magical. And somehow you guys kind of co-opted with the Macon Pops to do something that really, if you can only come one night, opening night is definitely the night. Share a little bit about the idea, how that happened, world-class Christmas lights and world-class music melded together. Talk to us about that.
Well, as y'all know, and I hope the viewers know, I am a huge Macon, Georgia fan. And I wanted to make sure that if we did this, that it stayed as local and as genuine to who we are as a community. So when I was thinking about the music for the Christmas show, of course, I wanted it to be local music. And so I had heard of the Macon Pops and all the great things they were doing. And actually, in this room, I walked in and there was Steve Moretti sitting in the coffee shop. And I said, "Hey, buddy, I got this crazy idea. Never met him before in my life." I shared just my idea, and he goes, "I'm in, let's do it." And I thought, okay, who's crazier, me or you? Because you don't even know me, and you're willing to jump on the bandwagon with this, crazy idea. And he took it from there. And of course, Matt Cattengoo, the Grammy Award-winning conductor, who's part of the co-owner of the Making Pops, conducts all the music and writes all the music. It's local singers that sing the music, so we were able to keep everything genuine and unique to who we are as Macon, Georgia. So it's been a great partnership with the Macon Pops, and I couldn't be prouder to have them on board with what we do.
So that night, it's great music. It's free to anybody in the community to come out. That part of the block is full, and then the show starts, right?
And it is synced live. It's also another thing that's never been done before, to sync 5.5 city blocks, 1 million Christmas lights live to a conductor who, when he goes boom, the lights are dancing to it live.
Paint a picture for what that really means.
It's
Because there are people that may not have been.
So I mean, if you think about it, the Macon has big city blocks, so it's a huge area. And literally, when the band starts playing, those things are synced to go off with the music instantly and dance. And I'll never forget the first year we did it, because you could literally look on stage and see the performers' eyes light up, like, oh my gosh, this is happening to what we're playing, because it had never been done before. So once again, we've done a lot of firsts with the show, and I'm very proud of that. Not just because it's a first, but because it showcases who I believe we are as Macon, and that's a leader in a lot of different ways.
So Bryan, I've got a question for you about some of the logistics of the lights and the timing for when all of this stuff is going to happen. But first, we have a quick word from our sponsor.
I'm a 37-year-old mother of 2 and enjoy spending time with my family. As an athletic trainer for a manufacturing plant, I'm on my feet all day. I developed bulging varicose veins after my pregnancies. That only got worse. Then spider veins. After a family beach vacation and lacking confidence, it was time to do something about my legs. As a medical professional, I knew Vein Specialists of the South is the best in Central Georgia. From my first phone call to completion of procedures, every staff member was professional and ultra caring. I was blown away by how much information I learned and the severity of my legs. I loved the staff and even looked forward to returning each visit. The procedure had minimal downtime, and I even walked a mile after my last procedure. Months later, I was back at the beach again with 2 pretty legs and newly gained confidence. If you're ready to get your life back, call Vein Specialists of the South today.
So Bryan, you've been on the show before, but this time we're on a brand new station at a brand new time. We're actually on 13 WMAZ here, and so our audience is just massive. We've had a ton of people tune into the show over the past year whenever we made the change to 13 WMAZ. With that in mind, remind our viewers what time the lights start and where they can be found, and the schedule for how all of this is going to happen.
Well, we kick off this year, we always kick off on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And that night, the show starts at 6 o'clock with the live concert, with the Making Pops, all free. It is free every night. So there is no reason not to come multiple times every year. Bring your friends. You have family in town for Thanksgiving, bring them. They come back for Christmas, bring them. They come for New Year's, bring them. It doesn't cost you a dime to come.
So I think you're actually telling me that someone can spend way too much money on Christmas and then come down here for free and watch the lights. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So there is absolutely no reason not to come. There are 4 shows a night. They start at 6, 7, 8, and 9, so on the hour. The show actually ends at 10, but the lights stay on until 11. That way you can kind of hang out. You might have run into some friends and just want to hang out and talk for a while. The cool thing is, last year we have enough songs now that the Making Pops has done that we have 2 separate shows. So the 6 o'clock show and the 7 o'clock show are totally different songs, different everything. Then the 8 o'clock and the 9 o'clock are a repeat of the 6 and 7. So you can actually come down here, watch the 6 o'clock show, go eat dinner, come back out and see a whole different show that you didn't see when you were here the first time. So it's really cool. We actually have 31 songs now, and the 31st song will be new this year, and it's because it'll be another original song written by Steve Moretti and the Making Pops.
That's incredible. Just out of curiosity, for all the people that have come down here, because you've been doing this for several years now, what aspect of this do you think is everyone's favorite?
Oh man, if you were to talk to the kids, of course it would be, Santa Claus, it would be the snow blowers, that kind of stuff. If you talk to the adults, it would probably just be the fact that they can let their kids come and just have a good time, and the freedom that they have to be able to walk through the lights and enjoy it, which is really a benefit. I mean, I'll never forget the first year that we did it, and it was only 2 city blocks, and 10:30 at night, there are kids running all over the place on Popham Street, and to me, the joy that brought me, because it was something that you normally didn't see kids around downtown. But to see them run around all over the place having fun, but it's a place that you can come and let your whole family enjoy themselves freely.
And it's a great cross-section of the community that comes.
Oh,
Right,
that really is you, and you kind of touched on it earlier, but it don't matter. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter if you're rich or poor. It don't matter if you're black or white. It don't matter if you're, anything. Nothing about it has a limitation. So when you said it really is a oneness, it is a oneness. It is a place for us to come together as a community in the middle of the street and enjoy something beautiful together, no matter who you are. But there's no limitations, because a lot of times it is because of money. A lot of times it is because of different things. This is something that everybody's free and welcome to come to.
And Bryan, in a time whenever we are so addicted to our phones and we spend so much time looking at screens, it's great to have an event like this where families can actually come together and participate in something like this. And along those lines, I actually have a 6-month-old son now. And so along the lines of having kids, is there a certain event that kids can come down here and take pictures with their parents to make these meaningful memories?
Santa Claus is here not the first weekend of the event, but after that he's here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up until right before Christmas. The weekend before Christmas, we have the live reindeer here with Santa Claus and the sleigh, so they can come and have pictures made there. We have the horse and buggy rides on the weekends, so they can come and take part in that. This year we have a few extra things that we're adding to the show that are bigger displays that are not here yet, but once they get here, they're great places to take pictures. So we hope that'll be something that'll be utilized this year. And of course, the snow blowers blowing out snow, the kids absolutely, they'll want to just stand there and just wait for the snow to do. So lots of really great things for them to come and do.
That's great. So a lot of people plan a date night around this. So downtown, nice dinner, maybe hot chocolate or coffee or dessert, see the lights, have a good time. So I wanted to talk about a little bit, where are we right now? We're in Taste and See, and what better place than come for some coffee, hot chocolate, maybe something sweet to eat, right?
That's right.
But of all of the events over the last couple of years that led to some entities closing, one of the most disappointing when Taste and See, when you took a hiatus, but you're coming back, right? And y'all may have heard you're coming back. By the time we air this, you'll be open. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on down here and what your plans are. People are excited.
Hey, I saw that when we made the announcement. I mean, Facebook blew up and Instagram about us opening back up, which of course made us feel really good because it really did make us feel missed. But we will be opening back up, and we will be open by the time this does air. But this time we're going to actually be roasting our own coffee. So we'll actually be roasting right here in-house, and all the coffee will be done right here. So you'll be able to taste the different blends that we have that we're doing right here. So we're excited about being open for the Christmas lights, because it really was sad last year not to be here, because that is also a tradition for so many people to get a hot chocolate or a coffee and walk around and walk through the lights. So I'm looking forward to it this year. But the restaurants downtown, if you haven't been downtown to eat, I mean, man, what some amazing restaurants. And it don't matter what you're looking for, is here.
Oh, yeah. And if you're planning on doing that and having a date, you need to call next week and make reservations. Because those, particularly on the weekend nights, they'll be gone, and you'll be a disappointment for somebody that can't eat at their favorite restaurant. The other things downtown, remember the live music venues that are around town. Most weekends there's some live music of different genres, and you want to put that on your list along with the Christmas lights. And you might even think about rock candy tours. We've interviewed
It's been great.
them. They don't have, I don't think they have a nighttime tour, but if you want to know about the musical heritage and history of downtown, what better way to learn about that if you got out of town guests to come and bring them by a taste and see while you're down here.
Bryan, I am curious on the entrepreneurship side that you have invested in downtown Macon. We're obviously sitting here today in Taste and See Coffee Shop, but you also own Macon Rocks, which is right up the street, and it's a rock climbing place. If there's someone watching today, and if they're curious about entrepreneurship, what kind of advice do you think you would give them?
Well, I mean, first off, no matter what you do, you better be passionate about it. If you want to be successful, and I'm sure Dr. Harper can speak at this as well, it's work. It's a lot of work. But if you really want to do it and you put your mind to it and it's something you're passionate about, man, chase after it. I mean, go for it. There's always different niches that need to be filled out there. Find one and fill it. You know, I'd love to see some young entrepreneurs step in and be successful and create something that we don't have. I would say, don't try to find something everybody else is doing and do the same thing. You see that all the time,
Right.
you know, but find something that'll really work for you that you're passionate about and go for it.
Dr. Harper, you were one of the early investors in downtown Macon. You opened Vein Specialist of the South a number of years ago. You're an entrepreneur in your own right. Any other context that you would add to that about an entrepreneur that's watching today that they want to jump into something but they don't know what yet?
You know, it's got to be something you're passionate about. For me, it was a calling, and to move downtown and buy a building in 2000 was a little ahead of the time. But to be, if you're called to that, know it's going to be some hard work, and a lot of times it's not instantaneous. It's something that happens over time, and to stay the course. And I think for us, one of the keys is customer service and how we treat other people. Too often today, you know, you go somewhere you're not treated like you would want to be treated. I think that's important for success. And of course, we've been really blessed in what we've done, and we're thankful. And a lot of that is because of the people in the community. That's one reason we like to share the positive stories in Macon, so other people can be encouraged to follow Bryan's example. So
Now, Bryan, I want to go back and touch on some of the data of the Christmas lights. I was looking, and I have this stat here, and it says that last year, 790,000 people came to the Christmas lights last year. And I actually pulled out a calculator and I did some quick math, and that is the equivalent of 8 Sanford Stadium football venues. If you took Sanford Stadium, the Georgia football venue, and you packed it out 8 times over, that's how many people came down here. That's incredible. How many people are you expecting this year?
Well, I mean, we're expecting probably another 50 to 100,000 people. It's always kind of hard to tell because there's always competing things going on throughout the state. But so many people, as you can see from the statistics, drive here from a long ways. You know, Visit Macon does a great job of tracking all that stuff and keeping up with it. But with that comes hotel, motel stays, comes restaurants, getting eaten at. I mean, there's so many different ways that the Christmas lights has impacted our community other than just a great place for people to come in our community. And that's also been something that, once again, when I did it, I was not even thinking about all of the impact. So a lot of these numbers, in my mind, it just blows me away. But I couldn't be more proud of it. But I couldn't be more proud of it because of the exposure that Macon gets and how Macon is benefiting from it.
Absolutely. And so as far as total number of lights, how many lights are going up in the trees?
We quit counting after a million.
You quit.
So, and see, a lot of people don't realize this, but the trees keep growing.
Yeah.
So, you know, as the trees grow, it takes more lights. So that same tree next year might take 2 extra strands. Well, you do that times 180 trees, and all of a sudden you got a whole lot more light. So we just, after it got to that point, we just said, you know what, there's over 1 million lights. So we're just going to leave it at that. We are adding some of the new displays this year, and of course those are covered in lights. And I don't know how many lights are on those, but that's even more lights. And but the cool thing is we're going to try to spread them out throughout downtown this year. So hopefully, as you're down here, you won't just have to go into the Christmas light show itself to see some really cool lights. We plan on trying to do some stuff where as you walk around downtown, you might see some lights kind of spread out.
So Bryan, is there like a room in your house that like when you open the door, there's just like lights like falling out of it? And then a million?
No,
What are you guys
I
doing
mean
there?
it takes a 5,000 square foot warehouse to hold what we do. I mean it really is kind of a unique thing. But and I get asked all the time, so do you decorate your house? And it's like, no, we have a Christmas tree. We're the normal people at home. I get to exert all of the things that people do at their house. I get to do out in the middle of the street. So the difference is as to where just my neighbors see it, the whole community gets to see it.
So this really is a labor of love for Bryan, his family, his friends that do this. You know, those lights go up, but they come back down. So, and how many hours do you think it takes, man hours it take to pull this off?
Man, I have no idea. I tried last year to kind of
don't wanna know,
calculate it.
probably.
Yeah, and there was no way to really do it, but it takes 2 months to hang them. The show is a little over a month long, and it takes a month to take them down.
Right.
And then, of course, after all that, you have to, sort them, box them, store them, and then you pull them back out way in advance, and you start testing them. So it takes a long time.
So there were some awards this year, right?
There was. We won the
Tell the
Trailblazer
crowd
Award.
about the awards.
Yeah, Visit Macon contacted me, and we won the Trailblazer Award. That's a state award for the Convention and Visitors Bureaus that I was nominated for, the lights were. And so that was a big tourism award that we won. It was in Georgia Trend Magazine back in July. So, and a few years ago, we had won an international award for it for use of public space. So once again, when you're not even thinking about an award of any kind, but it does show the recognition that the show has gotten, which once again is more incredible things that Macon gets.
What about HGTV? Was there something
Yeah,
there?
there was, and I thought Forbes magazine was a big deal the last 2 years in a row, but then HGTV.com posted a thing about it being one of the top places to come at Thanksgiving because of the Macon Pops and the opening night concert. So if you think about it, I mean, even more of a reason to come on Black Friday.
I think you underestimated. I think we could hit 900,000.
No, we could, we could. Looking forward to seeing what it turns out to be like. I can promise you that.
So between HGTV, Forbes magazine, if you're not coming to the downtown Christmas lights, you are missing out. Bryan, we just want to thank you though for spearheading this effort and to adding a completely new dimension to what Macon has to offer to the community. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching as well. Stay tuned for where me and Dr. Harper might show up next. You never know where it might be.
I'm a respiratory therapist, 33-year-old mother of two, with one of my children having medical needs. I enjoy being outside with my family, and I enjoy riding horses as one of my personal pastimes. After having two children, my varicose veins were really painful, and I knew I needed help in order to keep up with my busy lifestyle. That's when I reached out to the only accredited vein center in Central Georgia, Vein Specialists of the South. Meeting with the VSS team, they listened to my concerns and developed a treatment plan perfect for me and my hectic schedule. During my procedure, I could tell the staff truly cared about me and what they do. The procedure was really quick. They put on my favorite music and made me feel completely comfortable the entire time. Recovery was easy, and I was glad I didn't wait. And most of all, it was covered by my insurance. Now, there's nothing stopping this mommy from living her best life. If you need vein care, I encourage you to call Vein Specialists of the South today.